I'm gonna get up. Let me see, it's desktop. Okay, and let me get up my slideshow. Get to the right one. Sorry, I have like 5 million different tabs up, of course. So, all right. So can people see the desktop okay? Are we good? Okay, perfect. All right, so just while we're going through introductions, if you wouldn't mind just writing in the comments what inspires you, or your passion, what kind of keeps you going in school. What are those moments that are that you're like, yeah, this makes sense. This is why I'm here. This is why I love teaching. While I do the introductions, just to kind of see what keeps us going, especially this year. I think what are those awesome moments and things that keep you kind of going. While you're thinking about that and just typing it in the chat, I'll introduce myself. You can kind of see the slide. I have a really varied background in education. I've kind of done a little of everything. And I've been teaching for 20 years now. That makes me feel old. But I have taught at the elementary level, the middle school level. I've taught special education, and stumbled upon Design for Change actually when I was teaching 5th grade. And so taught it to my 5th graders, saw the difference it made in their lives, in their classroom. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. And then was lucky enough to have some opportunities with Design for Change to meet educators internationally and to visit the Design for Change school in India where Design for Change was born. And so, it just really made me passionate about this program. So that's why I'm here today, to hopefully bring that passion to you as well. And I see a lot of people in chat. When I'm looking at the chat, I see a lot of things about kids making relevant connections, seeing the light bulb go on when they want to do the work and they're excited for the project, the joy they get. Like, I see all these things that, I agree, when they do something they never thought they could do. And everything I'm seeing you guys write in the chat right now, Design for Change can help with. And I've seen Design for Change almost do all of these things with kids where they make relevant connections and they find joy and discover new things. And so I think hopefully this will help fuel your passion, just judging by what I'm seeing in the chat at this point, that this, could help fuel your passion as well, and your kids too. So. And then Sanjali Gidwani, she was going to be here, but she's actually on an airplane right now, so she can't make it today. She's actually the co-director of Design for Change USA, and she's amazing. She got her master's degree in education from Harvard, and that's where she kind of got this design thinking piece. And so it's unfortunate she can't be here because she has so much information and great ideas, but I do have her email at the end of the slideshow. So if you do want to get in touch with her, she is, a great resource and more than happy to do that. So, and with that, we are going to move on to our challenge for today. We're going to do something called the Wallet Challenge. Just curious, I'm just super curious, how many people have ever done design thinking in the classroom? Anybody? Not okay. Maybe I see some kind of maybes. All right. Okay. Well, this is going to be fun then. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm walking you through a design thinking challenge right now. And so you're going to kind of learn it by doing it, which I love to do. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to be put into a breakout session with a partner, and you're going to interview your partner about their life told through the contents of their wallet. And the idea is you're going to make some sketches and design a wallet for your partner. And we're going to go through the process here to actually design a wallet for your partner that would fit their life. So the questions, if you printed off the printables, you'll have these. And so the first one we're talking about is the interview process. But if you don't, you can just have a piece of paper to write down what you learn from your partner. Here's kind of an example of what it could look like. I mean, it's what works with your brain, you know, but you want to kind of go for stories, quick. It's really, really quick, just so you know, and asking them things like, who is your user? What does the wallet mean to them? Some of those great WH questions. What do they need it for? And so you'll have, 6 minutes, so 3 minutes each, to just quickly interview your partner and get as much information as you can from your partner about what like a perfect wallet would be for their life. Has everybody got that? Okay, so Christy's gonna put you guys into breakout sessions. You have 3 minutes each to interview each other, and then we'll come back. Okay, trying to figure out something here. Let me see. I just can't see.
What are you looking for? What can I help?
Well, what I'm just trying to do is see the participants better, but I can only see because I have the presentation. I'm slide sharing. It's, yeah.
Screen share, unless you have two screens where you can
I don't.
slide that little box. Are you looking at, if you hit breakout room, or are you looking at the breakout rooms? Because you can see who is
How do I
together.
do that?
Down at the bottom, you might
I
have
can't
the
see it at
menu.
the bottom. Breakout room, pause recording. Oh, there they are. Got it.
Yours is at the top. That's right, because you're sharing
Yeah.
screen.
Let me just look. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so cool.
So I didn't put you, like, I think I didn't have you in one, but then someone joined late, so it did kick you into one, but you don't have to join. So that's the beauty of it.
Oh,
Is
okay.
if you manually just assign 2 and 2 and 2, you can exchange, you can move, you can choose to not join.
Yeah.
And then you should be able to, I made you co-host. If you wanted to hear what they were doing, like Kate, I know you know Katie, right?
Yeah.
So you could click on join and you could pop into that room just to listen. Uh-oh, and we have Emma popped out. Did I not assign you, Emma?
My partner's not answering, like their camera's off. And
oh, well, I'm going to move you to a room with people. How about that? Okay, here you go.
Sorry.
Okay.
Let's see.
Did it work?
No.
They're not asking you to join?
There she is. I can see 5 with Katie and Luann.
But I don't know why it's not asking you to join. That's really strange.
I can see I can move her. Weird.
That is weird. Yeah, it's not popping up like it.
Let me try again. I'll just try a new room.
There's always something. Nothing can go smooth, right?
How about that?
Room 2.
I don't see anything.
Let me see here. I'm going to.
I wonder where the one guy went. Huh.
I'm just going to keep trying rooms. So you might get whisked away.
She might disappear.
I hope I didn't leave the other one too quickly. I just kept being like, hello, are you there? And they just...
Well, and I don't see where she's joined yet. Like, I don't see her joining in that room. In fact, no one's in it now.
Oh, because she was there. It was Emily someone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it showed she didn't join.
She did though, like they just had her profile picture, like her camera was off and she wasn't responding to me, but maybe I left. Maybe I should have stayed in.
I don't know.
She hasn't come back, so I feel like I feel like she didn't, but I don't know why it's not letting you go into another room.
No.
Hold on, let me keep messing. Oh no,
Oh,
did I just
we're coming
close
back.
another room? No. Gosh, Emma, I'm so
It's
sorry.
fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Maybe the next step, you and I can just do it.
I was gonna say we could do it here. Do you have it
Yeah.
pulled up
How
on your
much
screen?
time? How much time's left?
5 minutes.
Seriously, there's 5 minutes left?
Be not in a 6 minute. It was 6 minutes, right?
Yeah, that's all that's gone by. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so if we want to do this, what you would do is you can interview me,
Okay.
okay, about wallet and what, if you were going to design a wallet for me, and again, we're talking about contents, like what it would do for my life, that kind of thing. So those WH questions, I guess.
Okay. So I guess, how long have you had the wallet that you have now?
Well, I just bought it this last fall.
Okay. And why did you buy that one?
Because I'd had my previous wallet for probably 10 years and it finally wore out.
Okay. And what's your favorite part and least favorite part about your new wallet?
My favorite part is that it keeps all of my cards and that stuff really well organized. Like, I love all the pockets because I need a lot of organization help in my life. So I have a lot of appointment cards because I have kids, and I have, obviously my Costco card is really dear to me. And of course the debit card, which comes out a lot for kids in my life. The thing that I dislike about it is it's got kind of those larger, zipped compartments, and those are super, like, I just shove all my receipts in there and then I can never find them again. Like, I can't, it's the abyss of nothing in that part. So
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you like smaller pockets. Let's see. How would you feel if you lost this one?
if I lost my wallet, I would be completely panicked. And I would, because it has so many things that I need right now, I would feel, totally panicked. It would be complete panic.
What else, what other than sort of transactional, like your cards and stuff, what else is in your wallet that you would?
You might find gum, potentially. My youngest loves gum and things like that. He's 11. And so you might find little things like that for him. What else is in that wallet? Change, constantly trying to keep change and stuff, again, for the kids, a lot of times for them, because we're at places that take cash a lot, like concession stands and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that. I have a few pictures, not much. I don't carry a lot of pictures there because I keep them on my phone. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Just looking at your questions. What do you like? Is there anything that goes with your wallet? Like, would you like it to be, do you carry it in a larger bag?
It has to fit in my purse.
Okay.
And I don't carry a large purse because I carry a lot of stuff with me all the time. So
Okay.
I have kind of a compact purse and it has to fit in that.
Okay. Compact.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then besides the function, what about the like stylishness of it?
Yeah, I like color for sure. So I like bright you know, this one's got some different blues, like navies and blues and stuff. So I definitely am a color person. I like stripes. I like polka dots, stuff like that. So style wise, and I like it. I like kind of rectangular ones, but I like cool shapes too. So I'm always up for fun shapes too. That maybe would fit better in my purse. So,
Okay. Okay. And what was it like when you're old? Because your previous wallet you had for a long time. So what was it like? How did you decide that you needed to replace it?
well, it was really getting worn out. Really worn, but I'd had it for so long because it was such a cool little wallet. You know, it was like compact, but it had lots of compartments and lots of things that I needed. And it was actually a soft one, so I could wash it, which I really liked that. So I loved that wallet a lot. It went a lot of places with me, Europe and back, and yeah, so it went all over the place. That wallet did.
Do you still travel?
I want to. As soon as this COVID thing's over, I'm traveling.
Right. Not
It's
this year.
happening. It's happening. So, yeah.
Okay. Am I
Yeah.
supposed to keep asking you questions?
No, because I think we're coming out of
Oh,
the,
okay.
yeah, we're coming out of the breakout session. So,
Perfect.
yeah. All right. Is everybody back? Let me see. I think so. Okay. All right. So I hope everybody learned something about their partner and their needs and through the lens of a wallet, which is kind of crazy when you think about how much your wallet actually means to you in life. So now what you're going to do is you're going to create what's called like a point of view statement or a problem. In design thinking, we call it a problem statement too, which is kind of either way. So this is what it kind of looks like. You're kind of defining based off of what you just learned from your partner. You're going to write your user's name. Their wallet is his or her. What is like their need or needs? Like, what is it to them? Because, and this is where you give that meaning, like, this is why this is their need for their wallet. So I'm going to give you guys about 2.5 minutes to construct a point of view, or also can be called a problem statement. And you can kind of see down here an example. If you can kind of see at the bottom, it says Beth's wallet is her junk drawer. Her family needs her to be organized everywhere else. So you can kind of get an idea of what a point of view statement is or problem statement. So I'll give you guys 2.5 minutes to construct your point of view statement, and then we'll move on to the next step. And you can just write it on paper because you'll be sharing it with your partner in the next breakout session. Let me get my stopwatch. There we go. Okay, got my timer going. Okay, we got about 1 minute left. There. Oh. All right. 30 seconds. About 30 seconds left. All right, 10 seconds. We'll go on to our next stage. This is the fun part, really. All right, let's bring it back. Did everybody get a good, like, defined point of view statement as far as like where they could go with this? So the next part is called ideate or iterating. You can, in design thinking, you can find it both ways, but it means essentially the same thing. And this is where you get creative. And you need to visualize 3 different sketches or 3 different ideas that you think will meet your partner's needs based on your point of view statement that you just wrote. So based on your point of view, your problem statement, you're just going to quickly make 3 sketches that of a wallet of what you think your partner might possibly like as far as a new wallet. Okay, based on your point of view. So you can see this is the slide if you printed it off, where you can do 3 different ideas, or you can, again, just do it on paper. Here's some kind of examples of some example sketches that have been done before doing this. So I'll give you 6 minutes to sketch 3 ideas for your partner. All right, go ahead and start. Okay. Let me see, where's our time at? Let's see. Just about 3 minutes, a little over 3. All right, this is like your 2-minute warning. All right, 1 more minute. So for those of you who are like the real detailed sketchers, this is your 1-minute warning. All right, guys, that is your time. So go ahead and finish up your very last sketch. And I'll explain the next part. All right, so the next part that we're going to move on to is what's called the prototyping or test phase when we're talking design thinking. What you're going to do is you're going to walk your partner through your sketches and get feedback from them. So, you know, as you explain your 3 different ideas, get any feedback from them as far as, you know, which one maybe work better. Maybe it would be a hybrid of certain things within your sketches that would make like the perfect wallet for them based on your statement that you made, your point of view statement, and share your point of view statement with them too, so that they can also say, well, I think that part maybe isn't as accurate as this part in your point of view statement. So you'll share your point of view statement and then share your sketches and then get feedback, and you can just kind of write the feedback at the bottom as to what would be the perfect wallet based on your sketches. All right, so you're going to go back into your breakout room with your partner that you had from before for 5 minutes. So you each have 2.5 minutes to share. So it's quick. All right. All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna admit, with people moving around and we've had some drop, it shifted all of the breakout rooms.
Oh no.
You may not end up with your original partner, but Anne, is it okay with you if they still describe the why of what their original partner was thinking?
Yeah.
And go
They
through
got
that
some
process?
feedback. Yeah. Yeah. You'll get the idea.
Sorry.
You'll get the idea.
I'm so sorry.
That's what happens. I get it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So my computer died. I'm on a laptop.
That's fine. Sarah, do you remember who you were with?
Yes, Stacy. I don't remember her last name. It starts with
Stewart. Okay. I will try to find her and I will try to put you in that room.
Okay.
Hang on, let's see.
Yeah, my computer died right as we were coming back from the drawings.
That, don't ever bank on technology, right?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna try this. I am so sorry. And it went to 8 minutes. So I will just stop them. I will close all rooms. I've got the time. We'll keep track. You wanted only 5, right? So, okay. I will just close them all after the 5 minutes is up. I'm so sorry.
It is what it is. She actually had a really cool point of view statement. I was like, that's really cool.
Did you want to go back and join? You can click on
No, it's
join if you do. And Stacy, I felt bad. I shouldn't have called anybody out like for dropping or whatever, but Stacy dropped out. Her computer died. She had to switch computers.
That's
So
what
it
she
just
did.
shifted everyone. And
Yeah.
I don't know how you prevent that.
I don't know, because I'm not super good with the breakout room thing. So I don't know. Is my
No.
screen still sharing?
No.
Okay, let me get it out. I didn't think so. I think when we
You went
went,
into breakout.
yeah, okay. So can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, someone was asking what design for changes, and I'm like, we're getting there. I promise.
I saw that.
This is
We have
like
about
design-
3 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, this is backwards design.
This is backwards breakout room and it's like speed dating. So just hang
There
on.
we go. We'll get there. I promise. I promise. I
Right?
promise. It's
Oh, can you
coming.
imagine if you did this with kids? They'd be like, I didn't have that person. Oh, that would be a nightmare.
No.
I love it.
Even like even middle schoolers, it would be a disaster. It
Would
would have
they?
melted. It would have been over by then.
Oh. Good to know. 6th graders and kindergartners, pretty much the
Oh
same.
my gosh. Yeah. Well, and then you get 7th and 8th grade and they just completely lose their minds anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Hence why I'm elementary. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. One's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, this is a fun one. I like to do this. It's really fun when you actually can build it and you give the kids tools to like build a wallet. Or what did we do? Well, I actually had them design my room. I did this one, it's called Design a Room Challenge, and they had to do research into like what good design is in a classroom. So they learned about traffic flow and like all these things. And then they had to like create my room, and whoever met, the kids had to come up with criteria, like what would make this the perfect room with what we have. And they came up with criteria, and then they were in pairs and they designed, like they had to draw it out like an architect, right? Where desks would go or this or that. And then there were certain things, I'm like, there's certain things that can't be moved. Like, can we move my teacher desk? And they're like, no. And then so then they voted on the team that they felt met the requirements. They all had to present it. And then they got to like design, they put the tables where they, according to the plan of that team. It was so fun.
That's awesome. It sounds a lot like DI, like Destination Imagination.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Use
pieces
that,
of so many different, like, in design thinking, there's like, it's a framework, so you can apply it to anything. So
I remember my kids did it a lot when they did first Lego League, FLL.
oh yeah,
That
Yep.
was part of their team's competition was DI. They were given the scenario, here are your materials, you have 4 minutes, and then
Yep.
go.
and
And
all
to
you
see
would,
how well they work as a
Yeah.
team was amazing.
yeah. And that's design thinking. They just don't know the steps. Like you haven't named the steps with them. And that's with a lot of these things, that's what I'm going to show them. Like you're probably doing things. You just have to maybe do one different step or really get into the empathy piece more.
Mm.
Then go to the
Oh, yeah.
you
I
know.
can totally see where this would be an excellent pair with sources of strength. That's
Yeah.
like, oh gosh,
I'm
who
super
are you, your
excited.
strengths, and oh yeah, what you have to contribute is so essential.
And we're
Love
gonna have
it.
kids come up with campaigns for the school, so they'll have to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the school within
Mhm.
sources of strength, and then they're gonna come up with campaigns and use this process to do that.
Amazing.
Gonna
I don't
be-
know what I'm doing next year, but I want to see that in action at some
Yeah,
one day. I'm
come
gonna take
up.
a field trip.
Yeah, come on up, because I'm, like I said, I'm developing it. Like Jessica and we've talked about it. We haven't had a chance to really sit down and get to the meat of it, but I think it's gonna be pretty awesome. I can't wait.
Wow. I'm gonna let them know they have 1 minute left.
Okay,
Just so if someone's looking at the time, they're going, no, we have 3. Nope.
no,
We're
sorry.
done.
It's one of, I know, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And this is the stuff I couldn't have thought ahead about, because like when we do our online stuff and breakout rooms with our cohorts, like everybody from the beginning, it's always the same people. No one's
Right.
ever,
Right.
you know, it's what
yeah,
it
you just don't know.
Mm.
And you never know who, when stuff's gonna happen, like batteries dying. I plugged
is.
mine
Right.
because I'm like, I'm not taking a chance.
I'm gonna plan ahead, and yeah, grace and flexibility. That's
Oh my
what
gosh.
everybody's shirt should be handed to them this year. It should say.
Yeah, that is so true.
Right. Are you, let's see, you were doing fine on time. You might be a few minutes behind, but I think you have pockets where you can catch it up for sure.
Yeah, and I left actually 15 minutes at the end after the project, so I think we'll be
And
okay.
ending early is not a problem. Like, don't worry. We don't need to fill the whole time if it doesn't take it. So you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna
awesome.
close them.
Okay.
Okay, done. Oh, we gave them 15 more seconds.
Oh.
You can fire me.
No, because I can't do this. So you're staying.
You're stuck with me, girl.
You're staying. Hi, welcome back. All right, is everybody back? Trying to tell. It's hard to tell sometimes with this. Okay, cool. All right, so I hope you gathered. Well, first of all, I hope some of you got some awesome ideas for new wallets that you may want in your life. But just a question, and you can either just type it in the comments or say it out loud. As we went through this process, what did you learn this second time around with your partner when you talked about their point of view statement and then you showed them their sketches? What did you kind of learn from your partner about their wallet, or what you had done your sketches? Like, did they love all of them, or like what did you learn from your partner during that process? And you can type, or if you want to unmute yourself, you're welcome to. It's kind of up to you. You see some people typing. Yeah, I agree, Emma. Be creative. It's easier said than done. Yes, I would agree. Oh, I like that is an interesting thought. Like that there's certain aspects your partner valued, so you could let some stuff go. That's a huge part of this process for sure. Oh, good. Fun getting to know each other. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that statement about the learning certain aspects of what your partner valued and that you could let a few things go or maybe change something, that's kind of at the crux of this whole process, really. And that's that empathy building piece. So what I just walked you guys through is actually a really fun design thinking challenge. We only did a really small portion of it just to get your guys kind of, creative juices flowing. And so you could just kind of experience the first few phases of a design thinking challenge. And so what I'm just going to move to then. So this is the design thinking process. And as you can see, the very first step is empathy. And so through the wallet challenge, when you were first interviewing your partner, that was your empathy stage. You were gaining knowledge about your partner's needs and their life and what they needed through this wallet, right? And then you defined it, your point of view statement, or it could be a problem statement, depending on what you're working on. You took all that information and then you defined what you thought they needed. And then the ideation or iteration was the brainstorming piece. And then when you went back to your partner and you interviewed them again, that was kind of that prototype phase where, okay, these are my ideas. Now, are these going to work or not going to work, or what works, what pieces work, right? And then that leans into the actual like creation and the do stage. So what this actual full activity does with kids is they actually get to build a wallet, and you just give them all kinds of things that they can construct a wallet with. So if you were to actually do this with kids, you would have them go through this whole process, and then they would actually build a wallet for their partner at the end of it. So this design thinking is actually a process that is being used currently to solve some pretty big problems within businesses. It's used highly in the design field. Every time I've had kids present for Design for Change. There's been anybody from the design fields, architecture, interior design. They're like, oh yeah, we use this all the time. This is what we use to develop, plans for our clients. So it's gained a lot of steam worldwide, the design thinking process has, because it's so successful in solving problems. And if you go online, you find YouTube after YouTube video of how it was used to turn around companies and create profit when they were losing money and just all these things. So kids are going into a world where this is becoming more and more and more used. And so if we can give them those tools, I think it's just really powerful. So someone was asking, how does Design for Change fit into this? So what Design for Change is, they took the design thinking process and put it into 4 kind of more accessible, I guess, stages for kids, and kids of all ages, K-12, right? So the feel stage is that building empathy, the research and building empathy. Imagine is the brainstorming, the creative thinking. Do is actually trying out their solutions. And then the last stage that they do is share, where they actually share what they've done with their stakeholders. And depending on, and I'll be explaining kind of how they do these projects and the stages here in just a minute, but the share can be as simple as sharing out what they did with their classmates to sharing out with community members. It just kind of depends on your kids and, the project and things like that. So that's what Design for Change is. It is a program. It is a framework. It is, and I'll be showing you, they do have a platform online and tons of resources on how to utilize their framework of design thinking for kids in a variety of classrooms and situations. So what Design for Change though does is they ask kids to look within their communities and find things that are bothering them within their communities, things that they want to change, and then implement this process to, try and change that. And community can be defined as, their town, but it could also be within their classroom community. What's something that's bothering them within their classroom community that they really want to make better? Or it could be school. So they take the design thinking process, put it into these 4 stages, and then the kids, their task is to find something that's really bothering them that they want to change, and then use this process to change it. It's actually an international program. It's in over 70 countries now. It's expanded. I've been doing this for 6 years, and it's just, it has exploded worldwide as far as how different countries that have a chapter of Design for Change. They're utilizing the global goals to kind of get kids thinking about problems within their community or schools, depending on the age level. I've done Design for Change with first and second, and we didn't do anything with the global goals with them because it's really kind of way out here for them. and they need to be, they're so concrete. It's all about where they're living and what's going on, in their lives. But when you look at what the global goals are, these are the goals that the UN wants to try and reach by 2030 to make a sustainable Earth, basically world for us to live in. And you can find something within these goals that the kids will want, to try and help or change. I've done projects with No Poverty, where they were working within their community to help people in need. That's always a big one. Life Below Water, trying to help the fish, obviously living on a lake where we are in Sandpoint. That's been a big one for kids. So there's something within these goals kind of for everyone in all interests, as far as implementing the design thinking process. And this is just a quick quote. I won't, it kind of gives a why as to why we should be teaching design thinking in the classroom. And a lot just has to do with coping and grappling with complex problems. I mean, that's at the root of it. Those complex problems that we don't even know what they're going to be yet, but it also creates resilient kids. So that resiliency, I think, is also a big piece of this. Once they have that problem solving process down, it's pretty crazy to see how resilient they get through the process. So the very first stage in Design for Change, their design thinking process, is the fill stage. And this is where they build empathy and they research. And generally this kind of takes the longest amount of time. So to get started, obviously the kids are going to have to settle on something that they really want to change. And you can do that. What we do, tons and tons and tons of sticky notes. Just invest in them if you're going to do this at all, because it's a great tool. And I use like bulletin boards in my room, and they had access to put sticky notes up to brainstorm, like what kinds of things are bothering you? What do you want to change, in your life? And we had, all kinds of things, from dogs that are being walked off leash outside because now they can't walk their dog. And that was a huge problem for some kids, to fixing the sidewalks it was just, you have this huge, all these ideas, and they put them on sticky notes and start kind of categorizing and sorting and looking at, well, what do we really want to try and do? And you kind of help them narrow it down through questioning. And then once they've kind of settled on, this was sixth graders. So these were my sixth graders. Gosh, that was like 6 years ago. They look like babies. These guys are sophomores now in high school. I know. That's my son. My son was in that too. And so we had the think tank, and they were really looking at like respect and kindness and bullying and all these things. And started just writing down what they were seeing as problems within that big kind of realm of ideas, and started seeing some patterns in their thinking, and they started organizing them. And ultimately they decided they really wanted to work on suicide prevention, because we'd had 6 teenagers commit suicide in the 2 years previous to them starting 6th grade. So they ultimately really thought there was a connection between respect and kindness and bullying and all that, and what may have happened to some of these kids that they all knew, because we're such a small community, and so, it's all about that creative piece, letting the kids really figure out what it is they want to do. And then once they do, that's when the research starts. Who are you going to talk to? Who are the experts? How do you get, perspective on this? They did, all kinds of research, and it took, quite a while for them to truly gain an understanding of this issue. And we talked to counselors, and we talked to our student resource officer. He was a huge resource for the kids. We talked to other teachers. I thought one of the parents of the kids talked to them. So they talked to a lot of experts. They interviewed, they researched. One of the tools that you can use in this stage is empathy maps. And they're so powerful because it really can put into perspective, like, the feeling behind it, the personal piece, and that's what makes design thinking so strong, is it's human centered, it's, you know, people centered. So this can really help organize what they're finding out. What were people thinking? What did they feel? What did they do? What did they say? And you can see some ideas that they had, you know, different ways that you can create these empathy maps with the kids to keep straight, like what is everybody saying? What are the patterns we're starting to see within this? And then after all of the research, after the interviews, they create point of view statements or problem statements. So what is the problem? What is it exactly? What does it entail? Kind of like what you did with the wallet, where you defined your partner's, what this wallet was for them. That's what the kids will do for their problem. They create a point of view statement or a problem statement. This is the problem. This is who it affects. This is how it affects them. This is, you know, so you get all of those pieces, all those great WH questions within there, and how it's affecting the people within their community. And then after that, they go into the imagine stage, and this is like their favorite. They love this. Like, this is the best, right? Once they get through all that research and they talk to all these people, they do rapid brainstorming, and it's rapid. So you had like 6 minutes to do 3 sketches. So that's rapid ideating or iterating. So you give them a time limit, like 10 minutes, something like that. So it's like, get your ideas, go as fast as you can. And they can draw them on sticky notes. They can write them out, however they need to, you know, express that. And then again, we had another, you know, bulletin board. You can kind of see on the picture. And they started putting up, you know, you start putting up with sticky notes. You see sticky notes used all throughout this, all the ideas, and everything goes. And this is the point where I tell the kids, like, everything goes. It doesn't matter what it is. Put it up there, because you never know what idea is going to be the one that the kids are like, yeah, that's what we need to do. And again, they start classifying ideas, and they start looking for relationships between ideas, or maybe there's an idea that they see over and over again, you know, and again, trying to keep them back to that point of view statement as well. So always going back to like, okay, is that idea, do you think that idea would go with our point of view statement or not? And then through that, like classifying and discussing and questioning, the kids usually land on a couple of things that they think they really, really, really want to do. When I did this with first and second graders, they were so fun. Like, they just go crazy with ideas. Like, they're way up here. Like, we're going to go talk to God today, and he's going to let us know exactly what we need to do. Or like, we're writing a letter to the president, and we'll just wait for him to tell us. Like they just go huge, you know, and you kind of got to bring them back down. Like, okay, the president is awesome, but how long do you think it's going to be before he gets back to us? You know, you got to kind of wrangle them in. Where with sixth graders, it was like, sometimes it was like, come on, can you think of another angle? You kind of had to almost pry it sometimes, you know, out of them. But those little ones, they love it. They absolutely love it. And so using that problem statement, and then looking at their ideas, they create a solution. And this was the one we did with our second graders. They really were concerned about the crosswalk safety outside of our school. It was a mess. The pickup and drop off was so dangerous. There was cars everywhere. And, you know, every year I saw kids almost getting run over. It was terrible. So they decided they wanted to do something about it. And they did a bunch of research and found some really cool pictures of rainbow crosswalks that were all different colors. And they thought that might be cool because people would see it better. And we looked at, you know, the light up signs that light up when someone's going to cross. And, you know, so they saw all these cool things, and they created a letter to our city council. And we talked about what a city council is and what it does for your community and all this. And so this was the letter that they did as a class. They took kind of their ideas and made a big class letter, and it actually went to city council, and they actually got to go to city council and propose their ideas to city council. It was absolutely amazing. And in turn, they did actually change our whole pickup and drop off system at Washington Elementary and created more awareness about our crosswalks not being painted. And we got some signs in town, and, you know, it was pretty amazing. But that was part of their plan, was to write a letter to city council and tell them that this was a problem. You know, this is a big problem in our school. So the due stage 4 design for change is actually putting those into action. You know, what their ideas are, putting those into action and actually doing it. And I'll have some more examples of those here shortly. But the thing about it is you can't think of design thinking, or this design for change process is linear, it's circular. So they will go through this process and they might try something and it may not work so well, and they're going to have to go back. You know, maybe they need to go back to the point of view, or maybe back to some of their research, and or back to some different ideas that they had and rethink it. Sometimes, like with the city council, they found out they can't do rainbow crosswalks, but they could do this other thing. And then that led into a whole new, okay, now we got to think about this other, like our drop off and pickup, right? So they're constantly going back through the process as new things come up. And that's the resilience piece, because it's like, oh, well, here's a roadblock, but oh, I can go back through the process and figure it out. You know, so that's what makes it really super powerful. And I like what, Christy said about the color coding. Yeah, Charlene, the teacher I did this with, and they were really working on this piece, like supporting their evidence and stuff. So that went right into the ELA, like perfectly for that particular thing. And then the last piece is share. Like I said, they share their projects. And this is important because that's like that reflection and kind of synthesis part. Once they finish a project with Design for Change or with design thinking, even if it's just a presentation for their peers, you know, it's just kind of that final, this is what we did, this is how we did it. And it creates that reflection and kind of synthesis piece. We've done it with just a class all the way to like, this was a community one that we did for our community, for people who had been involved in some of their projects. So it can be as big or small, but it is an important step for the kids as far as being able to like share. So just a question after and I know this was a super quick dip, and thinking of this as a framework, it's not a curriculum. So Design for Change is not a curriculum. It's not meant to replace a curriculum. It's a framework to be used within like curriculum or a project, right? So just thinking about that, you know, does anybody have ideas, just thinking of their own classroom or things that they've done or are doing, ways that they think they could potentially implement Design for Change in their classrooms based off of just kind of what we're talking about now? If you want to just type it in the comments, any ideas that you might have within your classroom. Oh yeah, definitely. That magnet school in Coeur d'Alene, that, yeah, we need to talk. I think it could be, yeah. Yes, asking students what their ideas are. This taught me that in spades, this program. Like, you ask the kids and I am constantly blown away. Like every time I do anything like this, you know. Yes, pay it forward. We basically did a random act of kindness challenge, and on the Design for Change platform, it's called the Do Good from Home Challenge. And it's all about doing acts of good. And they did it last year. They actually did the Do Good from Home Challenge during when everybody was in quarantine last year. That's when they launched this. And it was, how can you do acts of good for people while social distancing or having to be from home? And it was amazing. Like, I did it with my 8th graders. That was what we did as part of our mental health unit. You know, we had to go online, and then they launched this, and it was it was phenomenal. And so they actually still have that on their platform, which there's a video on how to use that in my presentation. So you guys will be able to look at that as well. Yeah, yeah. Oh, local history alive. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yes. And you can use partial stages of this depending on what your needs are. And I'll kind of talk about that here in just a minute for sure. So as I said, it is not a curriculum. It's the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. That's what one of the teachers, I'm a teacher champion for Design for Change. So I get to connect with some teachers around the nation who do this. And that was her saying, and I've absolutely loved it ever since she said it. It is, it's not like it's not supposed to replace your curriculum. It's not a curriculum, but it's like this cherry on top that you can add to just make things come alive for the kids. And they can actually utilize their writing and reading skills, and they're using it and they don't even know. And that's what makes it awesome, you know? So the standards that I generally always end up incorporating whenever I do a design thinking, Design for Change project, research and informational text, they do a ton of research. Speaking and listening, it is one of the best programs for speaking and listening that I found. Like the kids end up having to interview people, come up with the questions, talk to them, listen to what they're saying, bring it back to the class or to their partner, whoever, tell them what's going on. They may have to talk about, and you know, one of their solutions, like our second graders did. You know, you don't know quite where it's going to lead, and you do have to be comfortable with leading from behind and kind of letting them go, and then using questioning to maybe drive them a little bit if they go kind of way off track. But always speaking and listening. And then the K-3 social studies standards are all about community. And when we did it with the second graders with the crosswalks, we, you know, a lot of the standards are understanding your community and where things are located and how it all works. And she had never been able to truly teach those like in her class. And basically by doing this program, that was like the first year she really got into, well, this is how it works in our community. Like we have police officers and the city council, and like it was really cool. So the K-3 social study standards, you know, are often hit. Project specific standards that I've used, health standards, mental health in particular, science, math, narrative, text, and reading. They always end up having to write things. It happens, and it's authentic. I've had kids write skits, poems. They've had to write proposals. They've had to give presentations. Like there is any number of writing, you know, like narrative type writing or authentic writing opportunities that can occur doing this program. And yeah, to Jessica, you hit a ton of skills and concepts, and that's why I absolutely love doing this with kids. And it's authentic, and that's what I love. Like they aren't just writing an essay for me. Now they're actually having to write it for somebody else, and it counts, you know, besides just a grade, you know. And then you can imagine the 21st century skills. You know, it's just full of all those 21st century skills. Particularly empathy and particularly creative thinking. So, and to Emma, as far as the whole class, yes, usually, they start with the same problem. And generally what happens is kids start to break into interest areas within that problem. So someone might be wanting to work on this issue while another kid wants to work on this. And so even with our second graders, we had some kids that really wanted to go to city council and speak, and we had others that wanted to design a rainbow crosswalk. You know? So you can kind of find the strengths for a lot of kids, and you get, you know, it's not perfect. I mean, you still have maybe one or two that are like, well, I just don't like anything. But you can usually kind of gradually get them into something, you know. But yeah, and then I have done multiple projects within a class too with older kids. I didn't do that with the younger kids. The younger kids all worked on the same one. So there's some with like my 8th graders, we could do multiple projects within one classroom. they're a little more independent. They can kind of, do some things, but with the younger, like elementary age, we all did one. And then they kind of found what they wanted to do within this. These are some of the project examples. My first graders that we worked with, they did marker recycling, which was really fun within the school. Our second graders did crosswalk safety and then food waste. So they were collecting food waste within our school. And I can't remember, they reduced like the amount of food waste in a day in our cafeteria by 30 pounds a day. Like it was just crazy. And they just found farmers who needed the scraps for their pigs and stuff. And they learned which ones they could take to the farmers and things like that. So that was a fantastic, and the crosswalk safety, of course, was phenomenal. That one was a great one too. We had 5th and 6th graders do poverty. They found out the needs within our community for people that, didn't have enough food and things like that. And they did some projects around that. Done reducing plastic use. 6th graders did that. Last year, my 7th and 8th graders, we did a club, and they found out that we did not have AEDs in our schools in our district, the automatic external defibrillators. And so they did a project, and we got cut short because of quarantine, so we didn't actually get the AEDs in. But right now, the AEDs that I just found out that if we can we've got people in the community who will match any funds that we will raise. So their project, even though we didn't get to finish it, is still going. It's still going on within the community. So how many 8th grade students are doing it now? I don't have a project going right now. My last project ended because I have quarter classes for health. So my last health project was the Do Good Challenge, and they had to create acts of kindness within our community, and they did that in March. And we actually went through that project within, I think we do it in about 3 weeks, if that, but not full weeks, because we introduce it and they have to kind of do things on their own and then come back. So they're working on it 3 weeks, but within the classroom, it's more like 4 or 5 days of work within the classroom. That was so that, I don't know if that answers that question or not. And then this was, this is actually the video of my 6th graders that did the suicide awareness mental health. This was 6 years ago, 2017. They were the ambassadors for the United States for Design for Change that year. And so we went to the international conference in Spain, Madrid, Spain, and they presented their project on the world stage. It was just absolutely like amazing to see these 6, well, they were actually just beginning 7th grade when we went on stage talking about what they'd done. And they got to meet kids from all around the world who had done projects within their schools. And the project ideas were just amazing. They had little 2nd graders from France who did school gardens to help feed people in their community, to our, high school kids that were working on obesity within their community, and just everything in between. Like, it was just amazing to see what kids can do when they're just given a little framework and the support to go. And I learned a lot about education around the world as well. So, that changed my perspective greatly on what we can do with kids and what we can expect from them. So I just want to quickly go through resources before I go to this last question, but Design 39 campus is in San Diego here in the United States. It's a public school, and it's actually a K-8 design thinking school. So they take design thinking and they implement it fully within their school everywhere. Social emotional projects, their school is founded on design thinking. And they have a really awesome website, and you can actually go visit their school, and they do put on conferences as well for teams. And you can take a team from your school to go visit. And we were gonna do that last spring, and that got sidelined, as we all know. And then there's the Riverside School in India. That's the founding school for Design for Change. It's basically the Design 39 campus in India. And I got to visit that school, and it's amazing, like just amazing. And they basically take, again, the Design for Change framework at the Riverside School, and it's implemented throughout the school. And then the Design for Change World site and Design for Change USA site, those also are great resources. So you should be able to click on it and go to the websites. If not, let me know if a link's not working and I can fix that. And then this is if you click on this, the Design for Change USA platform, this, if you sign up, it's free. And you can find different topics and it can kind of like walk you through the actual design for change process if that's what you want. And you can go on and explore it. There's all kinds of projects and information and things that you can look at to try and find maybe ideas for yourself and your classroom. And then all of these are links to books. This one, Design Thinking in the Classroom, is awesome. I love that book. I use it a lot. I know a lot of people use that book. It's amazing. And then The Extraordinaires is actually this design studio activity where you have these cards and characters, and the kids can actually do it on their own if they want. And it asks them to like look at the card. What do you think this character might need? And then they actually, it's really cool. It walks them through the process, and you can do it as a whole class or just individual. And then they have to go through the design thinking process with these character cards and write like, what do they think this person might need? And they can create a story about them. Like these are fabulous. And I did it with 6th graders. We did it as whole class. It was so fun. Like this is just a great design thinking, fun writing activity for kids, and you can adapt it for a lot of different ages. So these are all linked to cool programs or activities that design thinking really fits with. And Future City is another one where you could just totally implement that design thinking piece into it. But before we leave, I know it's like right at time. I just want you guys to think to yourself, like, how do you think you could incorporate design for change into social emotional, that social emotional piece within our classroom, like conflict resolution, empathy for others, things like that. Just if anybody has any thoughts on that, you can just type it into our chat as like, how do you think you could take that framework and then put it into the social emotional context within our schools and classrooms? Just a thought. And I can give you an idea of what we're going to be doing here at the middle school as you guys are typing, because I know we're like right at time. I think, but we're going to be actually pairing the design for change process with sources of strength, for those of you who are familiar with that program. And we're going to be teaching a class, an elective, where we're going to look at the sources of strength wheel, which is mental health and resilience for kids. Well, for everybody really. And looking at what are the strengths and weaknesses within our school. And then the kids are going to develop campaigns using the design, this whole process that I just went through with you guys, to come up with campaigns to try and strengthen the parts of the wheel that might be kind of weak within our school. So they're going to have to figure out what the strengths and weaknesses are within our school and our kids, and then come up with the ideas for the campaigns to try and, strengthen the parts of the sources of strength wheel that are kind of weak. So there's a lot of potential for this to be used in that social emotional context within classrooms. And again, if you go to that, like the Riverside School and Design 39 campus, you can see kind of how they use that as their social emotional piece in their schools. And it's pretty impactful how it's used. So yeah, and with that said, we are at 2:30, 2:32-ish, I guess. So I just want to thank you all for joining me today. I know on your Saturday, you probably had a million other things you could be doing, but thank you, Stacy, for that email. Awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope this, inspired you to try this with your kids. I know it's a really quick dip. But if you do have questions, my email is on the slideshow, and Sanjali as well. She's a great resource as well. So if you have questions or ideas, or just want to bounce some ideas off of me, I'm anytime, I would love to help out. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. And again, thank you for coming. And, you know, we're at the last of the stretch of this year. So keep the passion alive, you know, and, you know, we're all doing great, and give each other grace and a hug, and we'll get through it. Right. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. And you just summed up everything I was going to wrap up at the end. All of you that participated in the statewide conference today, you are amazing. And we couldn't do this without you. So from the bottom of all of our hearts and all of our facilitators, thank you so much. Enjoy your Saturday, and please reach out. These recordings, if there were sessions you didn't make it to but really wanted to, they will be broadcast to you. You will get those links. I would give it a few days because there's a lot of content, 40 different sessions. So be looking for that to come to you in email. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.
I need to write down that email. There it is. I gotta grab a pen.